time for Inside Sports Talk Radio with host Ian Lawrence and co-host Earl Baisden. Brought to you by the Lindos Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global and Alder Financial Group, Game Time, and Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. Now let's go live with Ian Lawrence and Earl Baisden.
And good afternoon and welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday. It is March 5th already and it's cold out there. How are you doing, Mr. Baisden?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Freezing.
It's not. No, man.
63 degrees.
Fine. Look,
63 is not cold, fight.
I saw a friend of mine who is not from Bermuda but has lived in Bermuda a long time. I said to him, well, if this is cold, you've been in Bermuda too long.
And they reply.
All he could do was laugh.
Laugh. Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel cold on the weekend?
No, man.
You serious?
Yeah. It was just windy.
That doesn't. Yeah, right.
It was just windy. Yeah.
It was cool, bro.
Okay.
So
if you guys say it was cool, it was cool.
I mean, it wasn't. Sorry,
about 53 tonight. That's 53.
We'll have to see.
Let's go today. 53 is cold.
We'll have to see.
I'm sure you have your heater on tonight.
Well, if it's required, then it may want.
So you didn't have it on this weekend?
Yeah.
I see. I lost the words there.
Lovely breeze.
Lovely breeze. So I take it you like the cold weather.
Listen, you have to do it whatever comes your way. So
Hot or cool it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like if you sit around and say it's cool, you're gonna feel cool. If you sit around and say it's hot, you're gonna feel hot. But if you ignore it and just go about your everyday life, it doesn't seem to bother. Well, it doesn't seem to bother me. So.
Okay, I'll leave it like that.
Yes,
that's cool. Well, on tap today, we have a guest in studio. We're having Vicky Abraham from of the Bermuda International Triathlon Union as it's making its way to Bermuda. That gets underway in April 28th that weekend. Also, we're having Sinclair Smith and Mike Watson be joining us in the studio. We understand that the walking exercise program that they have has been introduced into schools, and now it's going to be a part of the zone sports and school sports program. So it'll be interesting to see what they have to say there. And we have other people joining us in studio as well. Of course, this Monday will be Dave Wolf, little health and fitness segment. As you know, Dave is one of the island's finest gentlemen when it comes to fitness, and he keeps himself in top condition. And he presents a good conditioning class every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6 a.m. And he was there this Monday morning today, freezing cold, putting us through our paces. So it was a good workout.
Okay.
Yeah, come and join us one morning, man.
Well, my schedule's a little different than mornings, so.
Oh, we can make an exception to the rule for your schedule.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we can make an exception.
Okay.
If not in the morning, we can do an afternoon or evening for you.
My afternoons and evenings are pretty much tight as well. But you know what? At some point in time, you got to make changes, so it wouldn't be too hard.
Wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's a good answer. Good answer. How you doing, Mr. Bassett?
All is well, sir?
All is well.
Yep.
Can't complain.
Back on the controls again.
There you go.
It's a quiet weekend, laid back.
48 hours, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Seemed like it went so quick. I'm like, wow, it's Monday.
That's why I call it 48 hours.
I'm bidding to change it next time around.
What you changed it to?
5-day weekend, 2-day work week.
And same pay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And same benefits.
Sure.
I'm getting on your train. Man.
Hey, we got to hoop for something. We got to hoop for something.
That sounds like a winner to me. Imagine that happen.
Just don't spoil it, people. Just don't spoil it. A 5-day weekend, just don't spoil it.
Imagine working Saturday and Sunday for 5 days. Same pay, same salary.
How many hours a day? Long work hours?
No.
8 hours?
8 hours.
You said no.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like.
So what you do is you make Monday and Tuesday your work week, Wednesday through Sunday your weekend.
Okay. Yeah. But staying paid. That's
I tell you what. After 2 years, most people would say, you know what, I'm going to work for 5 days.
Same pay, same work hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You just get paid more hourly.
Okay. But still benefits to be the same.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a winner.
Let's sort that out, Ian.
Isn't much to sort out. That's a no-brainer.
It's
really.
a
No-brainer.
Never know. I get a message to Donald and it all changes.
Donald.
Trumpy can change it.
45? 45?
Yeah, Trumpy can change it, man. What?
I mean,
Put tariffs on
he's
steel.
stir me up.
Yeah. Well, you know.
He just want to stir me up. There, number 45.
45.
Yeah. Hey, back in the sports scene, you see what Liverpool has done this weekend as we moved into the second phase, or second place, I should say, of the tables of the Premier League. Man United do play today.
Right.
They have a game in hand, and they're playing Crystal Palace, who's fighting for survival. As you know, when teams fight for survival, you can't really predict.
Right.
But anything is possible. If United wins, they go back into second place, and there'll be the big showdown this coming Saturday, 8:30 Bermuda time at Old Trafford. Old Trafford Stadium. Liverpool and Man United.
Oh, okay.
8:30 Bermuda time.
Okay.
Be there, be square. Should be interesting.
Should be.
Yeah. Any bets on it?
Do you have any bets on it?
Oh no, I'm not a betting man.
You just have fish sandwiches on the line with Gary.
And Sean Thompson.
Oh.
Yeah, all the gentlemen, all the people that eat fish sandwiches. Yes.
Is it, hey, Don? We might be lucky come Monday. We might get a fish sandwich.
Listen, I'm not going to eat breakfast on purpose.
Oh, okay.
So when lunchtime comes around, I know I'm going to have a nice fish sandwich.
Sure.
I may get a side order fries. I'm not sure we'll have to discuss that.
Yeah.
Extra tartar sauce.
But we'll be benefiting some way, shape, or form. We'll be
for your benefits, how you guys can benefit? Who's taking care of you guys?
Well, if Sean loses, it's bringing you a fish sandwich, and we guys will share it.
Oh.
And if you lose, you have to bring Sean a fish sandwich, and we guys will share it.
Well, in our case, it's going to be double or nothing for Sean. So if I lose, I get nothing. If I win, I get 2 fish sandwiches.
Oh, you beat him before?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I told him that Liverpool.
Well, I'm not rooting for Liverpool, but Don, that means you get a whole fish sandwich.
There you go.
Can't wait, man.
I give it to you guys. Both of them. All yours. Take your fish sandwiches. Enjoy it. Extra tartar sauce, fries, whatever.
Yeah.
Have a Coke and a smile.
Coke and a smile.
Wow.
Man, I can taste it now. Man.
You guys are funny. So, back on the sports scene, last week we had a good trivia sports question, and I think Don was telling us, because he was at the controls here, that he had numerous calls and that no one got the answer right. So I'm going to repeat the same sports trivia question to our listening audience, and this time the prize is courtesy of one of the great sponsors that we have out there, Fort Knox Bermuda. It's their turn for this week, so they will be the recipient for this prize. And the sports trivia question we will put out there in about another 10 or 15 minutes. It's going to be the same trivia question as it was last week, Monday. So just let our listeners know. Of course, you can give us a call at 292-9595, and we will be gladly to give away this prize on behalf of Fort Knox Bermuda. Other than that, anything else we put on before we bring our first guest in the studio, sir?
Just a lovely weekend of sports. Obviously, unfortunately, on Saturday, the second and final round of the Grey Goose Golf Tournament that was postponed or cancelled, leaving the first round leaders as winners.
Wow.
Friday night, we had the conclusion of the Bermuda Open Squash Championships. A gentleman from England and a female from South Africa were the champions. Well, football is really exciting up with the Premier Division and First Division taking shape. PXG are leading the Premier Division by 3 points ahead of Robin Hood. Devonshire Cougars slipped up on Saturday night in all that weather, drawing 1-1 with Flanagan's. Dandytown basically dropped right out of it yesterday, following a 2-2 draw. North Village put themselves in a position they are tied with, I believe, Devonshire Cougars now with, I think it's 28 points, something like that.
Wow.
But the First Division heated up as well. Second place and third place, Paget and Southampton Rangers played on Saturday. That ended 0-0, and BAA beat Wolves yesterday 7-0. So they have a 3-point lead at the top of the First Division. 2 teams, as you know, go up. So it's going to come down to the wire who will be the 2 teams to go up and who will win the league, because of the final game of the season, we'll see BAA taking on Southampton Rangers And if the gap is 3 or less, that game will really, really have a eye in on. Paget need just to win out the remaining games, and they will be promoted. And if they end up being the lucky ones, they can win the league. But right now, with BAA having a 3-point lead over Paget and a 4-point lead over Southampton, they are currently in the driver's seat. So it's all to play for. Obviously, Bermuda played on Saturday. They defeated Cayman Islands in the 2020 tournament, winning it overall. And winning with 1 ball to spare. They needed 11 off of the last 3 balls, and Stephen Bremer hit 2 sixes, and they got across the finish line. And then yesterday they played a 50-over match. It was reduced to 40 overs, and they beat Cayman again by 4 wickets. Bill Cayman out for 149, and they got 150 for 6 in 24.3 overs, something like that. So,
interesting. Wow. So where do you think where the team's going to go from here, the cricket team?
Well, they have another practice match, another 50-over practice match, and that's all leading into the Division 4, which will take place in Malaysia later this month. And as I always say, Bermuda and Bermudians play on when they feel good. Things go well. And coming out of this tournament, having won the tournament, they play Argentina in a 50-over match, which hopefully they can get across the line. So they'll go into that Division 4 tournament feeling good about themselves and good about their chances. So, I honestly believe that they will do well in the Division 4. It's just a matter of getting there, getting settled as quickly as possible, and getting off to a good start. So hopefully that can be done.
Anything's possible, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think they'll do well. I think a lot's been learned and taught under the current administration, and this being, I think, their first international match since this administrators have come on board. Yeah. So kudos to them, and hopefully we see us a positive result and move forward in the right direction. Cool. Don Bassett, before we go to commercial break, would you like to read the first question that we had last week for the sports trivia, or do you have that bump? I have it right here for me. Actually, I can read it for you. Okay. Do you have that sports trivia intro? We can get that ready. I know you got. I'll give you some time. No problems. No problem. I put you on the spot. Yeah, I can do that now and then for you. It's all good. It's all good. We're going to take the first commercial break shortly, but we're going to give you the sports trivia question early. Again, give us a call at 292-9595. And when he hits that, I'll read the question. Then we go to commercial break. And again, the sports trivia question for today is the same one as last week. In what year was the Bermuda Netball Association founded, and who was the first president? Please give us a call at 292-9595. We'll take a commercial break and be back after this.
Talk Radio has been presented to you by Windows Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Financial Group, Game Time, and Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. We'll return after the break.
The importance of fruit juice cannot be over.
I'm being put on the spot.
Liquid Juice Company, a family business, has been bottling their diverse line of pure organic and premium juices since 1935. Liquid fresh pressed juices provide antioxidants, dietary fiber, vitamins, and minerals with no additives or artificial ingredients. Try Liquid original coconut mango and cranberry blends, pure blueberry, pomegranate, and carrot juices, and more. Plus Liquid aloe vera. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
What time is it? It's game time. More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to Walgreens in St. George's and Main Road, Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday 12 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 till 5, and Sundays 10 till 5. For more details, visit GameTime.pm or call 296-3222. Game Time. You play, we pay. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
Premier Health is a smart health insurance plan that does most of the thinking for you.
with online verification, eligibility, and direct billing.
7 out of 10 claims are now received electronically.
6 out of 10 claims are settled automatically.
Leaving you more time to focus on the choice of care you
First one
deserve.
will be fun. This is Earl Basin, Island Stets.
Hi there.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you. I love you. You are so good with the sports.
Oh, thank you.
And Storm Bassett.
Hi, how are you?
Diane Martin.
Things to prevent inside health with John Bassett and Mayor Barcelona of the Bermuda Diabetes Association on Power 95
You want
FM. This new
to look at any of
45-minute
this?
live in-depth analysis will provide the latest information on diabetes. In addition, we will feature guests and those sharing testimonials who have been successfully managing their diabetes.
It's basically raising funds for the Soup Foundation.
Foundation, and it's all for the student voyages.
Right.
Every
Spirit.
first and third
So
Tuesday
those are
of the
just
month
some
on Power 95.
talking points
Brought to you
I
by
got
Windows Group of Companies and the Arbitraries.
and all the hostages. And let me tell you, if it's like this Sunday,
Oh, yeah, it's going
well,
to freeze.
we wouldn't do it. We have
Yeah.
a rainbow.
Okay.
We need to talk about that too, just to
Sure, oh yeah, we put that
I'll
up.
let you know
Yeah.
where I am so that you
Am I?
can stop by and get a free roasted juice.
Oh, sorry.
It's Wednesday, every Wednesday, right here on Power 95.
There you go.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio with Power 95 FM. With host Ian Rhodes and co-host Earl Basin.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Our first guest today is Diane Martin of the Bermuda Soup Foundation. As you know, they've got their annual event that's taking place this coming weekend, if I'm correct, March the 11th.
yes, on Sunday,
Sunday.
weather permitting.
Weather-
if it's
weather
like this past Sunday, I don't think we'll be making people jump in the water.
What?
You get more money if you made it.
Hey,
That's a possibility.
actually, you know what? People would probably pay a lot to see that, wouldn't they?
I wouldn't be jumping in. No way. That wouldn't happen for me. But this year, it's happening this Sunday, March the 11th, and this event has been going on since 2016. What's the significance behind?
Before
Well,
2016,
sorry, before
actually.
2016. You're correct.
Yeah.
But the raising the funds. What's so significant about raising funds for this event?
All the funds for this event go towards our student voyages on Spirit of Bermuda. And as you probably know, we take out all the kids in the M3 year group from all the public schools and private schools. We take out 18 kids for a week-long voyage with maybe 1 or 2 teachers who are chaperones and our crew. And they go out for 5 days. So Spirit is like a floating classroom.
Mm-hmm.
We really are a floating classroom, but they stay on board for a whole week. They get no sugar, they have no cell phones, they have no TVs, and they are sail training. They learn a lot of math and science by doing,
Right.
which is
right.
exactly
Hands-on.
what we do. It's hands-on experiential learning, where by doing, and for a lot of kids, this is a fantastic experience for them because some of them don't learn as well as others in the classroom setting or just looking at a blackboard. So getting to actually be there and pulling on a rope and realizing that if you have teamwork, and if you have a pulley in place, it really helps to get the sail up, and they get the impact of that lesson by actually doing.
Right.
So it's a wonderful week for the kids, and this money all goes towards those voyages.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, what's the response when not athletes, but when the students understand that they can't have their cell phones with them? What's it been like on laptops?
Well, people always ask me, why don't you have kids selling tags to raise funds? And I said, well, do you really think, if you don't sell tags for us, we're not going to let you go. Guess what? They're going to say, ooh, I won't have to go where I don't have a cell phone. I don't have any sugar. Oh, maybe So anyway, there's kids do come out and help us with the fundraising, but it's not something they all want to do. I'll say that right up front.
That's true. Yeah.
They're 13, 14 years old. It's sort of become a rite of passage, so it has become an experience that they get to notch one up on their bow when they've said they've done it. But prior to doing it, they're not all that excited about
the school would take a lot of the blunt of that. Misery.
The misery.
Yeah, but
inflicting on all these
then they
poor
arrive to
kids.
the boat in the morning.
Right.
There's, to be honest, because my son went through it a few 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was all excited. ready to go.
And some are,
yeah,
you know, there are those. And boy, if they ever want to come back, like if your son wants to come back, that's part of our overtime.
Right.
Our mission says we're changing lives over time.
Oh, okay.
And the overtime part means come back. If they do find that they like it or it's something that touches their hearts, or sometimes the sea is in people's blood too.
Right.
And they recognize the value that they get from it. And those kids who do come back are the ones like our current watch leaders. We have 3 current watch leaders who all started as students when they were 13.
Right.
And these are perfect examples of what we do, because they started on the school voyage, came back and did summer voyages, and after they were 16, they were able to come and do overseas voyages. And now all 3 or 2 of them are going to Maritime Academy in September. So we'll have 2 openings for watch leaders, new watch leaders. If there's anyone out there, any kid who's done it who wants to come back and apply to become a watch leader on Spirit, we're going to have 2 openings this coming fall. And then say Lamar and Dikembe, Dill, Lamar Samuels, are both going to Maritime Academy in September. And then we have Essie, who's a girl, and she loves it. And they all are giving back by being watch leaders on Spirit. They know what it did for them, and they're now giving back. But Essie, I think she has aspirations in science. She's a really bright spark, and she loves Spirit. She loves sailing, loves boats. But she definitely wants to go on to university after this, but she's doing her time giving back to the kids of Bermuda what she experienced on Spirit. So they're good examples of what we do and how well it works.
Right.
Yeah.
As for the event this coming Sunday, we got some island figures, people who are putting themselves on the line. What time does it get underway, and how much money are you looking to raise on that particular Sunday?
Well, we have raised in the past, and we hope to raise again at least $100,000 this year. Each school voyage is about $26,000.
Wow.
So $100,000 basically funds for the school voyages. But when you break it down to a price per student for a week, it's about $1,300 per student per week, which for a live-on board residential program isn't that bad, broken down that way. So we hope to raise at least $100,000 this year. We have some great hostages. We actually had people calling us and volunteering to be hostages this year, which I can't believe.
Oh, that was a bet or a dare.
Probably.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Well, I'll never forget one year when Miss Hill, Allison, who's the CEO at Argus, she kind of did it on a dare, but her staff said to her, "If you do this, you have to go in wearing your stilettos."
Ooh.
And she did. She wore a beautiful business suit and stiletto heels, and she went over in her stilettos. But it's really fun for people to come and watch, because it's sort of grown over time, and the hostages really get into it now, and they come dressed up, and we'll have Tinkerbells and Peter Pans and pirates and scoundrels and wenches and ruffians, and people come dressed. And then we have school teams. We've got teams, some of the teams are teachers actually from like Warwick Academy, Saltus, BHS. Remember the BHS teachers have come dressed in school uniforms. The Warwick Academy teachers have come with the big bear head on. And so, it's really a spectacle, and it's right off the #1 car park. Spirit anchors as close as she can to the car park. So it's not too far to swim, because I can tell you what, that water is cold in March. And so we'll be there from 2 to 4. It usually goes from 2 till about 4:30. And starts. If people get there about 1:45, we're going to have bleachers. We'll have food. We've got some food and drink there, the vendors and the bleachers. But really, the focus is on looking out at Spirit and watching people as they leap over the side with glee, or not.
I believe there's a gentleman from the Bermuda Broadcasting Company who's participating.
Sinking.
Hey,
I think his name
contribute.
is Gary Marino, by any chance?
Yes, hey, that could be correct.
Yeah, that could be correct.
And please, we ask everybody, even if the public, it's really easy to donate, and every dollar counts. And it's very easy. You just go onto PTIX. You can find Pirates of Bermuda as an event. When you see it, you scroll down, and you see pictures of the hostage, and then there's a thing, it says sink and save. You put the amount in the little box, and it can be whatever amount you want. It could be $5, it could be $5 million. Whatever you want to put in that little box, you put in that little box, and then you click sink or save, and then it takes you through the process as if you were buying a ticket, but really you're making a donation to the Sleep Foundation.
In Gary's case, we're gonna make sure he's not going to
You
save
better
it.
make sure Gary's going
I
out.
heard him the other
Yeah.
day.
Oh yeah, he would
upset
need to.
because
He would need to.
he was gonna have to take a dip.
Yeah.
He's going to take a big dip come Sunday.
Good.
How many participants or people are going to participate in this on Sunday?
We have over 50 hostages this year. We
Wow.
have a record number, including the governor.
Oh, nice.
He's saved at the moment, I think, last time I checked. And
Yeah, he's got enough people to
I
save
have a
him.
feeling
He's
he
got enough
needs
people to
to.
save him.
Yeah, but
I wonder why.
Hey, he can order people to save him.
That's right. So I wonder why, right?
We've had previous governors, and I don't think any of them have been saved before. So this would be a first.
Being first.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you mentioned earlier regarding weather conditions, if the weather is not at the best peak on this coming Sunday,
Mhm.
You've got a rain date or a due date?
Yes, the rain date is the following Sunday, and then we hope we don't have March. We hope March is calming down by that point if it hasn't by this Sunday.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll make the call on Friday
Oh, okay.
because we get the weather report, and we
Okay.
have so many things lined up, like the delivery of benches, bleachers, food vendors, and
Right.
tents we've got because we have sound, the whole thing. So we'll have to make the call for Spirit as well.
Mm.
Whether if it was like this weekend, she couldn't even get down the harbor.
Right.
I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it gets underway. You say everyone arrives at 1:45, and the event gets underway at 2:00. Correct?
2:00 sharp.
Right.
Mhm.
Anything spectacular or anything different this year as opposed to the past?
I don't think there's anything particularly spectacular or different. We always anticipate the bishop. We're never quite. He is always spectacular, and he is one person who's been a hostage every single time. But he always, and we actually have pirates lined up to seize him at the cathedral after his morning service, and so he will actually be seized and brought down. But every year he does something spectacular. Last year, I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures on Facebook this year, but last year he actually had angels' wings made out of paper plates.
Oh.
And he dove in, and the pictures we have look like he's flying over the water. They're very cool.
Oh, okay.
What's that? There's people they jump off the Grand Canyon and do that flying.
Oh, they,
Yes, with those
the wings.
hang gliders.
no,
No, Icarus. They have the Icarus wings.
Yeah, they're called bat something.
Right. That's why I guess
Yes,
he looks like one of those. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know what he's going to come up with this year because it's always been spectacular, and I can't think how.
Ran over feet first or head first. You ran over me.
You can tell he has.
That
he has
sounds
that
like
one way
that
or the
sounds
other,
like
mate.
a challenge.
Oh no challenge, no challenge, just the truth. No challenge, just the truth.
the truth and a donation. So that'll
Yeah,
be perfect. That'll be
I
perfect.
already told him that.
Yeah.
It's going over me.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that the event's been on for a number of years, and it's been a spectacular event for the school kids in Bermuda. Where do you see you guys going forward after 2018? What's going to be different, or are you going to keep to this plan for a while?
Well, our plan works well.
Right.
So we've been doing this for 11 years now, if you can believe it. Spirit was first conceived 21 years ago, launched 11 years ago, and we've been doing this program. We're constantly refining it.
Okay.
We've had a lot of experts, psychologists, and various people. We've won all kinds of awards for our sail training
correct.
program.
Yeah.
Most recently, we just won the Sail Training Program of the Year award at the Tall Ships America conference in New Orleans, which is a huge honor to be recognized by your peers for
That's
your
true.
program. So that was terrific. But what we're doing is working. We know it's working. We just keep fine-tuning it, and we keep on praying and thanking our community for the incredible support that we do get, because we couldn't do it without their support. Spirit was built for Bermuda and for Bermudians and for Bermuda's youth, particularly, to give them this alternative way of learning and an opportunity to see, open their eyes, become more aware and more tuned into their environment, Bermuda's maritime history and everything else. And if we didn't have the support, we wouldn't be able to do it, so we're very thankful for all the support we've received over the years.
During the event, it's 11 years. What's it been like for a student when the day they arrive and then the day that they leave? What changes have you seen?
It is so incredible to watch. And Bramwin Smith King. I don't know if you know Brownman. She's is quite an athlete herself.
Right.
I'm sure you know exactly who
Yes.
Brownman is. She's
Yeah.
our new executive director.
Mhm.
She's been going out on school voyages. She's been going out at least one day a week.
Right.
And I have also been out with the kids. I know exactly. I've been out on Monday morning. They arrive at Dockyard. Sometimes it's like it was this past weekend.
Right. Right.
Blowing, rainy, and they're thinking, I have to do this. Why do I have to do this? And they're scared and they're nervous. Some of them have never even spent a night away from their own house
Right.
before. And their parents are there and they're scared. They don't know anything about it. And my favorite day of the week is Friday at around 11:30 to go down to All Boys Point, because Monday they leave, they don't know a thing. By Friday, they are sailing the boat down the harbor.
Mhm.
And they sail Spirit down the harbor. They round her up, they drop the sails, they fire the cannon. And those kids are so proud of themselves, I
Right.
can't tell you. Everybody should come on Fridays and watch them
Yeah.
coming in.
Did you see a transformed youngster?
You see
Yeah.
a transformed youngster. Yeah,
Definitely.
Cool.
you do.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up, ma'am?
No, well, really just to say, please, I hope, aside from donating, I hope everybody will come. We're trying to encourage spectators to come, and to thank the public for all the support we've had over the years. And as long as you keep on supporting us, we'll keep on doing what we're doing.
That's
Thanks
the
from
key.
all of us at Bermuda Sloop Foundation.
Not a problem. And we wish you all the best on Sunday. And we want to make sure that Mr. Marino goes in head first or feet first, as Mr. Basie said.
Thank you.
Not a
And
problem.
Thanks
And we
very
also
much.
wish that you reach your goal marks, because of the event that you're putting on. It's been on for 11 years, and obviously it's been successful. And we want to see it continue to be that way.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you
We're
very
going to take a
much.
commercial break and we'll be back after this.
Great. Good.
Not a problem.
Thank you. Come on down.
Sure.
I hope you're going to come watch Gary go over.
I ain't gonna say yes and I ain't gonna say no. We'll see what happens when Sunday comes. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Take care.
It is called hang gliding. Got checked?
Huh?
It's called hang gliding.
Hang glide. Yeah,
Hang
right,
gliding.
right, right.
Hang gliding.
But they do it with the hang gliders, which
Right.
are sort of
But they
very
also know they
sophisticated machines. But
they
I've
now
seen
have a
these people.
suit.
I've
Right.
seen people
They
doing
wear
it.
Yes,
with
yes,
suits.
yes,
It does look
Right.
like a bat.
Yeah.
Right, right.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
But I've also seen people trying to do it with like wings.
Yeah.
Oh,
These-
jeez. I don't know. I would
And they do it. People do it.
Yeah,
They put on the GoPro or whatever, and just you see them do that.
Yeah.
Look for it.
Yeah.
Not me.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Appreciate
All right.
that.
Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West, located next to Washington St. George's and Main Road, Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday 12 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 till 5, and Sundays 10 till 5. For more details, visit GameTime.pm or call 296-322. Game Time. You play, we pay. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
Premier Health is a smart health insurance plan that does most of the thinking for you.
With online verification, eligibility, and direct billing.
7 out of 10 claims are now received electronically,
6 out of 10 claims are settled automatically.
leaving you more time to focus on the choice of care you deserve.
Premier Health. Smart health insurance feels good.
Call Colonial on 296-3200.
Or visit cgigroup.com.
Hi, this is Miss Ben. Join me every fourth Monday for Money Monday. This new and informative show will provide a
Hey, fellas,
Take a
what's
left.
up? How's things?
Hey, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Comprehensive range of term deposits, offering
Hey, boy.
solutions designed
What's
to
your
deliver the outcome.
What's happening with your team, boy?
That's Money Monday.
You know what I'm talking about.
At 8:15 on Power 95.
Huh? You can't get them boys together around here. You elected the same president. What's going on?
Oh, you talking about St. George's?
What's
Not
wrong?
wrong. Not wrong.
What's wrong with you?
You in the car?
Yeah,
Put it up.
Good things are coming. Good things are coming.
Get on there, put them in training under the
You bring your mic just a bit closer to your mouth. Right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Brought to you by the Premier Health and Wellness Center. It's all about you. Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And good afternoon. Welcome back again to the segment of Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio right now is two fine gentlemen, no stranger to the art of sports, Mr. St. Clair Smith and Mr. Mike Watson. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. How you been, man?
I'm good. You guys all right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
so
man.
as well.
Yeah, right, man.
You guys don't look your age at all. You guys look like about 40 years old.
And Cinder's got me beat, but stress is gonna get me soon.
You ever seen Mike and Sinker under stress? No. I don't think it's gonna start now either.
Trust me, life ain't gonna be as smooth as you think.
No, but you guys make it look smooth. That's for sure.
Why do you think of here? I gotta keep walking. I gotta keep walking.
Gotta stay active, man.
But that's the key. That's my point. That's the key. You guys are making sure that you relieve the stress and make sure you don't get all tied up like everyone else does.
Well, we're trying to offer Bermuda something. Hopefully they'll take heed and try to relieve the stress like some of us that have it Sinclair. Some of us that have it.
That's good. You supposed to say something now?
No.
Well, I put you guys on the show today because I understand that your sports you guys have been covering, I think, for 2 years now, last 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
It's called what's the correct title for it? The name?
Race walking.
Race walking.
Yeah.
It's now been introduced to the schools in Bermuda, correct?
Yes, it has been introduced.
And now they're taking to a level where it's going to be competitive in the schools.
Well, what is happening is that Bermuda Institute implemented in the schools 2 years ago. This is the third year. When they first had in the schools, I must commend Ms. Tucker, Cynthia Tucker, doing a great job up there. We had invited you guys to come up, but no show. So this is the third year, starting from tomorrow and Wednesday. They are race walking in the sport. Hopefully you can make it out. At least one of those.
I think they put you on the spot.
Well, I'm just hearing about it. So, I mean.
At least, yeah. At least one of those days.
Oh yeah, we were out.
Hey.
So, and then from there, Heron Bay had in the sports last year for the first time. And I want to get back this year, but they changed teachers around, so I wasn't able to get back.
And let me say this. Sinclair has mainly been instrumental in getting to these schools, and I'm going to tell you, when I went up to see the sports and saw especially the kids at BR perform, the technique was first class. The biggest problem with race walk, can you hold it for miles? But certainly over the short distance they did it, man, you saw some talent. You saw some people move. You know, they technically were very good. So I like to commend Sinclair and the PE teachers of the schools for certainly teaching them the correct way. And my big thing is learning it the correct way, technically. Bermuda seems to be confused by what actual race walking is versus regular walking, power walking, speed walking, or whatever walking you want to call it when you're moving fast. But the actual technique of race walking is not easy to master. And it can very easily be confused for trying to walk and run at the same time.
Right. Well, I've heard. I mean, because when you do it, it looks different than what I guess we're used to seeing.
Yes.
And at times people would make a command, so he's got to be running. The main focus of what I gather from race walking is one foot has to be on the ground at all times, right? It's a series of hip movement, leg extension.
That has nothing to do with the rules. The rule is only two rules to race walking.
What is that?
The leg must be straight from the time it hits the ground,
Right.
your heel,
Right.
until it's underneath the body.
So that's what I was getting to. That's what I was getting to. The fact that the leg is straight with the adjustment of, because when I watch you, you're concentrating on that leg and those hips, making sure that the movement is, and I could see that.
Well, what happens is because you're trying to push your heel ahead of your body and keep your leg straight from the time it hits the ground until it's underneath the body. Because of that movement and you trying to do it in a straight line, and that's the key.
Right.
A lot of people do it, but they're not actually walking in a straight line, which means the legs are not crossing each other to be almost as if you're walking on that weight line.
Yeah.
And what happens is because of that movement, it makes you swing your hips. You actually aren't putting a whole lot of emphasis on trying to swing your hips, especially when you get tired.
Right.
But the technique of keeping that leg straight and crossing those legs over slightly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you this, one of the things I'm learning, every world-class walking coach does it slightly different to achieve the same thing.
Right.
Because the instructor we had her that did the seminar, that Sinclair and Renton and these guys.
2 years ago.
Yeah, but 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
That instructor was brought in to introduce it to the various coaches so that they can teach it. And everybody was invited to see it, whether you're recreational, whether you're serious about the sport. But the thing is, the manner he teaches it is very technical. And he didn't put a lot of emphasis on walking on the straight line as much as teaching you what you do when you actually walk. And he talked a bit about rotation of the hips and certain things. But what I found is the average person to learn it, the only thing they've got to do is walk in a straight line and move your arms like a runner.
Right.
And attempt to keep one foot on the ground at a time, meaning don't bounce like a runner does, or don't get both feet off the ground. And more importantly, keep that leg straight. And the only way you could do it easy is to actually cross your legs a bit as if you're walking on a straight line. Otherwise, the leg tends to bend.
Well, you know, a few years ago, someone was went up and trained under some officials.
Right.
And it was Maria Dixon, Sabrina De Silva, Michelle White, and myself. So we do help people who can officiate.
Right.
But we want to train more. So if anyone's interested in learning how to official, just get in contact with Mike or myself.
Right.
And we're willing to teach it.
Right.
Like the schools, we can't really. I'm not too technical with these young kids. They're in between 6 and 10.
Right.
So you can't get too technical.
Right.
But they love the spirit of it.
Yeah.
And to go on what I was saying, West Pembroke, and you see the teachers are important.
Yeah.
Randall is solid.
Right.
Along with the guy Bean.
Yes. Steve.
They train with the kids. And that's important.
Right.
And those sports are Thursday. And when I leave her, this one I'm going to West Pembroke, the Eagle Foot is for Thursday.
Right.
My next school is Elliott. I just got to Elliott. Those schools is this week, but they'll be ready next year.
Right.
And the 3 teachers there, I can't remember their names, they're into it heavy.
Right.
They also want to invite the parents, which is a good thing, to come and join. So, you know, what we're doing okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the opposition of it. There is some opposition of it because Sinclair is talking about positive school teachers that really are going gung-ho and recognize that whilst everybody may want to be a runner and be a top-class athlete in the traditional sports we know, there is room for a new sport, walking, which is less demanding to some degree at the lower levels. Because I don't want people to get misconstrued, and I think that's why it hasn't caught on with middle-aged people who primarily are the ones out there doing the walking in the racing in the average races and trying to be competitive. One of the reasons why the growth is slow with them is because we've quickly recognized that it's a very athletic thing to do. And if you don't come from an athletic background, or you don't possess the endurance that a distance runner has, you may find it physically demanding unless you just learn the technique and don't try to maintain such intense speed. Now, I'm trying to do 8 minutes a mile, 9 minutes at slurs. That's no easy feat, which means I'm crossing the average recreational person that runs.
Right.
So to maintain that is quite strenuous, and you have to have big lungs, you know, and you have to have a running background, or if you're young, you certainly have to be the same type of person that I would develop for distance running. You know, it's that intense. But what's disappointed us is wanting the average person, Joe Blow in society, that gets out there and walk, that the doctor has told him maybe you need to walk for diabetes or just health. The injuries from just walking or jogging come mainly because of lack of technique.
John, we have to break away right now. We've got a newscast come up in 20 seconds, so we can continue this conversation soon after the news break. We're going to break away and do our news at 1 p.m. Be back after this.
You're up to Power 95, Bermuda's big station at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station.
The opposition, because that's what I was getting at first. The opposition. Well,
Bermuda Weather Service forecasts 14 close.
Yeah,
I think that's been a lot.
Yeah, there's somebody else protest. They got a ticket and a flyer.
For
Did you
what?
pick it up? I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Something to give away on the radio.
So when you get, I see you're running.
Yeah. Trying to be like you guys, man. Fuck.
Hey, I mean, you're looking good.
Trying to be like you guys. Let's do it on there. Still Mark, Brenton, Lisa. Yeah, it's regular crew.
Yeah. So what happened to you, Mama? Yeah, wait a minute, man. You know something? Man, I saw you.
You look good.
She should have mixed it up. Hey, check it in.
But she kept him. She kept him on.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's happening there.
That's happening?
I said, you know what's happening there.
You know what I'm saying? That's happening?
No.
Oh.
That's why I'm saying party.
Yeah.
You know? How could you be so stupid?
I don't know what.
You know.
Continuing into Tuesday, we'll start to see the winds come down, especially during the morning, and by noontime, will be free of sheet hail, practically. 60 to 70 knots. That's hurricane strength. Yes, it does qualify as hurricane strength in terms of thresholds that are recognized around the world. So that's quite strong, but not impossible for this time of year with that definitely a good idea to batten down and basically put away anything that might stronger winds.
But it doesn't work on
Cell has suspended all kinds of wine rescues.
other than survival. If you were stranded in the ocean,
Right, that's
it's better
different.
to do that.
But they also say that it's supposed to have your system cleared out for like 21 days before you drink your urine.
That's why I put that to the guy in my job. He said, hey, you people, blah, blah. I said, ain't no problem. What color is it? Check the color. It's pretty clear.
That's right.
If you can do that.
Not yellow.
Yes, I can.
And it's
really poison.
yeah, you're putting the junk right back into you. Your urine is to clear it out.
Small ones you ticket. There's some contact numbers on the back.
Okay.
How long is it?
3 minutes and 45 seconds left.
Left?
Either lack of knowledge
Or ignorant.
or the need for a performance answer. An answer so bad that just to go to the extreme, and that makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. And I think that's what the motivation is. I honestly think the motivation is I want an answer, and I know I can't take the other stuff.
The upper level of Trinity
I'd be
Park, as well as the
penalized.
nature reserve, are open for use.
But
Park staff
But,
are currently
but like I
conducting a
said,
complete
the
assessment
Soviet
of
bloc
the
used to
Shetland
do
Bay.
that. And the other thing
Minister
they
for
used to do,
Economic Development
which
and
was
Tourism,
wrong.
Jamal
They
Simmons,
used to
announcing
get
in a ministerial statement in a House of Assembly that
and
new
abort
casino gaming
because
regulations will
that
be here
3 month
soon.
period,
This
nobody
news comes
started
after
building
the
up
PLO
new strength.
president has now been in
That
power for
is
8 months.
Well, we've got a couple of regulations that are in the pipeline to be tabled in
for
short
the
order.
period of
I
time.
think that we're very pleased to see that we're finally seeing progress in this space, and I think that it bodes well for the future gaming industry as well as regulated industry. Some 17, 19 points. It's a number of them that will be split up in three sections
But
to
that's
be
crazy.
tabled
That's
over the next couple of months. So we're looking forward to
Russians,
getting
that's
this.
why Russia's in the state.
Can you be more specific? What is
They
it
don't want to
from the
compete. They want to do this nonsense with them. They don't want to touch them. Because even look what that guy took the boys to do.
When
To
you look
do
at, for
was that
example,
I mean,
goal,
I know what it's called when you're like pushing that. You know, I was surprised you done that.
You talking about no, it's for curling.
Curry.
I'm surprised you
How
done
the
that.
heck you get these stories, nigga? You supposed to fight. Something wrong with that picture. You know what I mean?
So you been around the other G?
You mentioned that there were several stumbling
Beast, yeah, I've been around
Can you
it.
elaborate on the
I trained on it a couple of times. It's nice. It's nice. If anything, is like that gym don't have showers down there. Right? It still says work on that, but the only thing that Kim has Kim has the best location.
Yeah.
Anybody, any other gym in the
I tell everybody that.
She has the best location.
It's the best, yeah.
But it's maintenance.
Critical in terms of moving
Hey,
casino
boy.
gaming forward to Bermuda. There's
now-
one provisional license,
now
which
you
is the Hamilton Princess right now.
Say it.
And now St. Regis and other hotels are quite interested in
Say
moving
it.
ahead. I think.
Don't anybody call in yet?
No,
My concern
no.
was
Hey,
you get
between the
I'm
time
surprised.
that,
I'll put it back. I'll do it one more time.
Okay.
I guess I have to.
I've been watching. I've been looking at the.
Yeah.
bringing these regulations to the House. In fact,
That's a
we
simple
don't even have
question.
the regulations yet. The gaming can't move forward until these regulations are actually completed, brought to the House, and obviously approved. The concern I have is that those regulations were essentially drafted back in July of last year under the forming gaming commission, and questions I had were revolved around what was different, what needed to be changed, and I didn't get a satisfactory answer to that. They're quite an extensive list of regulations, and
No, that's
I think the question I had
what's his
revolved
name?
around
Gibbons,
the fact
Grant.
we often got prodded.
I'll run that trivia intro again.
Sure,
for
sure.
moving slowly on the gaming regulations and gaming itself, and yet it's now taken almost 9 months. We still haven't seen the regulations. So my concern is about holding up the casino gaming, holding up the tourism product, and obviously it's going to be very much part of that.
That's our newscast for the hour. I'm Dr. Patterson with Bermuda Broadcasting News. Enjoy your day.
This weather update is provided by the Bermuda Weather Service, sponsored by BF&M.
All right, thank you, Jasmine. Weather-wise right now, sunny breaks, light passing showers currently. High today, 63 degrees, with winds are strong. Gale force, in fact, going up to storm force today. Tonight's mostly cloudy skies, a risk of thunder, and, of course, rain showers again for tonight. Expected low 53 degrees with winds out of the west, gale force to storm force conditions for this evening. For Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies, a couple of showers in the morning, diminishing by afternoon hours. High today, 65 degrees, the low 58. Long range forecast for Wednesday. Sunshine, in and out, some clouds. Expected rain for Wednesday as well. High 67 degrees, low 64. And for Thursday, mostly cloudy skies. Evening showers exist. It's winds out of the southwest, moderate to strong winds. High 69 degrees, low 64. And for Friday, sunny breaks, couple of showers though. High 70, low 62 degrees in Bermuda.
This weather update was provided by the Bermuda Weather Service, sponsored by BF&M. Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio with Power 95 FM, with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston. This weekly segment of the Sports Trivia has been brought to you by 4-Star Pizza, A.S. Cooper, and Sun Limited, Fort Knox, Bermuda, and Sports Source.
Before we go to our guests, we will read the sports trivia question again. It's the same question we had for last week. We said it earlier in the show. And the trivia question is, in what year was the Bermuda Netball Association founded, and who was the president? In what year was the Bermuda Netball Association founded, and who was its first president? Give us a call at 292-9595. Back to our guests in studio, Sinclair Smith and Mike Watson on race walking. You were talking about the opposition, Mike, before we broke away from the news. Going forward, yeah, there's going to be opposition there, but it looks like your sport has grown over the last two and a half to 3 years itself.
Yeah. Not as fast as I would have liked to see.
Right.
Mainly from a youth perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see the young, talented people really get involved in it to look to become future Olympians.
Fair enough.
As most people know, I'm Bermuda's distance running coach, and race walking falls under that umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see the people that don't want to become distance runners,
mm-hmm.
that have the ability at least attempt to do race walking. That's the ultimate goal.
Right.
If it never materializes, fine. I find the attraction is mainly with recreational walkers
Mhm.
who want to up their game.
Right.
And again, we were talking about the opposition earlier, and what I've learned is two types of people that approach the sport. It's those that are gung ho and willing to listen and open their mind and learn and do something different, and there's those who have their own built-in perception as to what race walking actually is. To the extent they're so opinionated as to what they feel it should be, which has nothing to do with when you go on YouTube and you look at a world-class race walker doing the Olympics. He certainly doesn't look like a guy that is executing a sport
Right.
Based on not expecting to be penalized.
Right.
Whilst he's trying to perfect the technique and the speed involved is such that you have to have judges. And those judges are mainly there to see who is actually getting airborne too much and who's not keeping that leg straight. That's their main concern. In terms of speed and movement, that's not as much a factor. And I find in Bermuda, if you're showing too much movement, you know, that's where the confusion lies and the opinions in terms of, hey man, you look like you're running more than walking, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas if you compared me or Sinclair to a guy that was at Olympic level, we look like we're keeping cleaner to the rule than he is. You know what I mean?
Is it like time where Earl was talking earlier about bringing in another international guest to explain the race walking again? I mean, it's been on for a couple of years now. Maybe you need to introduce something to the island and show them what race walking is all about again, so they can get a better understanding.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And the next thing is that there is not enough incentive. It's not enough incentive for walkers.
Right.
You know, if you look at the amount of people in Bermuda that's walking, and then when it comes down to a competitive walk, you see a few. But as you drive along the road, you see many people, and you can see them trying the technique.
Right.
And what has happened over the years was always first, second, and third, male and female. Then it came down first, second, and third, no distinction.
Fair enough.
Then in some cases now you get first male and first female. So the incentive is not there.
Right.
My understanding is because of insufficient funds. But you know, there's nothing wrong with giving out certificates. I participate in this such a race.
Right.
That's an incentive. When I was up in Leicester, I trained with Leicester's walking club. They invited me to the track to watch races with the kids.
Right.
They told me to pick out 3, which I did. And they gave us certificates. And the kids was happy. So the same thing could apply here. Give somebody some certificates. It's an incentive.
So you're telling me that the people want more than a certificate? That's what it sounds like.
No, we haven't tried it yet.
No, I'm just saying, from what your experience, you're saying that people are looking at bigger prizes than a certificate. But a certificate is just as good.
Exactly.
That's my point.
But you know, the amount of hard work that goes into the sport. If you look at, take for instance, International Race Weekend. Many walkers, even foreigners.
Right.
You can give us certificates. Age group.
Right.
And see, this is what it's like with the sport when it comes to walking. We paid just as much money as the runner to participate.
Wow.
And the runners get age groups. They don't do that with walkers.
It is some prejudice. There's some real prejudice when it comes to the average road racing, which traditionally has catered to runners. And the awards are, as such, given to the runners in every category.
Okay.
And walking, the categories are very limited, which doesn't really motivate a younger person, especially who may not been overall to be involved in the sport.
I've got a call on the line, gentlemen, about the sports trivia question. We can take this answer, and then we come back to this with another guest coming up, because time is getting up essence for everyone. Let's take this call regarding the sports trivia question. Good afternoon, and welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Good afternoon. You have the answer for this trivia question, ma'am? Yep. Yes, I'll read the question again. In what year was the Bermuda Netball Association founded, and who was its first president?
Bermuda, November 1972, Valerie Gill.
Congratulations, man, because it took us 2 weeks to get this answer. Congratulations. You can talk to our radio announcer, Don Bassett. He'll get all the information, phone number, and stuff like that, and we will have your prize for you, courtesy of Fort Knox, Bermuda. And we'll get the details and get in contact with you after the show. Congratulations. Thank you. Back to you guys real quickly before we wrap up. Going forward, Mike, your point was that you're seeing prejudice regarding prizes and recognition. But as you know, in Bermuda, when we do sports, there's like over 36, 37 governing bodies. It takes time for it to get its recognition. Also, both of you are correct again. It requires money.
Yeah, and in all fairness,
Right.
in all fairness, prize money, or sorry, not prize money, but funding
Right.
to assist sports is very minimal these days too. You all know that. So
Right.
in all fairness to the organizers, a lot of times it comes down to not being able to fund, and the funding they do have, they'd rather put it to the traditional events that they've always
Fair
given
enough.
the prizes to. But what's happened with us is, of course, we're not sitting back waiting. We're got a walking committee that meets regularly, and we're trying to grow our funds so that we can assist in those areas, so that maybe at the average event, we got lenders coming up. But mind you, lenders, to give them credit, they're one of the few people that do give good prizes, but they could have more categories, which in the future maybe we can assist in that area in terms of funding some sort of awards for the walkers of every division, and get people more involved. And my thing is also that the medical people in this country need to recognize that walking and running, it's not as simple as telling people go to do and walk. I think
it's not.
something needs to be done to encourage people to learn the correct way to train and technically be sound. And when I say train, I'm a strong believer that even if you're doing something recreational or for your health, you need to take the advice of a proper coach, because we all know many people haven't did it for years, and they suddenly are there exercising, and they have mechanical flaws that they didn't have when they were younger because they didn't stay active. But it's nice to go under the supervision of a proper movement coach, be it walking, be it running, be it jogging, and learn the correct techniques to avoid injury. It may be something as simple as pointing you to the right surface to train on,
Right.
but a lot of this stuff needs to be, and I'm sure as years go, doctors, etc., are gonna probably think the way I'm thinking in terms of, rather than tell somebody walk, maybe send them to a coach, a certified coach, and learn or relearn to some degree.
All right.
Yeah.
John, I have to wrap up. We've got another guest that's on the line. We got obviously he has a segment with us, and he obviously pays for his sponsor. Before we wrap up, real quick, any final comments that you'd like to add?
Well, what I'd like to say is that we still walk Tuesdays and Thursdays. We leave my parking lot up the King Street, and anyone who wants to participate can come out. As soon as you hear the word race walking, some people get nervous, but we deal with all levels of walking.
Okay.
Not only race walking, because many people actually have to walk and got their arms down. Just ordinary, bring your arms up, and no matter how fast you're going, how slow you're going, it works. It works. You know?
It gets the upper body somewhere. That's
Sure.
for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and we wish you all the best going forward, and keep us in touch on what's happening. And I think you asked Mr. Bates to show up what day this week. You named off like 3 days, so you didn't give him a time either, so you can't blame him on that matter.
Okay, you got BI schools tomorrow at 12 o'clock, race walking, and again on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, race walking.
That's at BI.
At BI,
Both days.
top field.
Okay.
There's actually Miss Tucker. On Thursday, Wendell said he's before he was out there last week, you got West Pembroke Sports. And that starts at 1. Race walking starts at 1 o'clock.
I got one last thing to say, and this is for Bermuda. A little advice for Bermuda. If you exercise for 5 minutes which is really a joke. The average person could do that. It's better than what you've been doing if you've been doing nothing.
That's for sure. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
We'll
you.
be back with our segment of Inside Health with Inside Health. Excuse me.
Mike's
Fitness.
got you good.
Fitness for Life with Dave Wolf. We'll be back after this.
Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by Lindo's Group of
Thank you,
Companies.
gentlemen. Let me give you his number. I'm gonna call him. He was on his way, but he's running late.
Okay, so call in.
Yeah, I'll call him. Let me give you his number right now.
The importance of fruit juice cannot be overestimated for how
Yeah, Earl,
convenient and cheerful
337
anyone raising children.
Yeah.
7272.
Okay.
Organic and premium juices
I've
since
actually started
1935.
my
Making
parents
fresh pressed juices provide antioxidants, dietary fiber, vitamins and minerals, no additives or artificial ingredients. Try Lakewood original
337 7272.
raspberry blends, pure blueberry, pomegranate, and carrot juices, and more. Plus Lakewood. Linda, why go anyplace else?
Okay, Bruce.
Yeah, well, sure. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, Earl. Okay. Wait a minute, right? Yes, sir.
The Great Watson. Stay with us.
Get comfortable with these chairs.
He's all good.
You weren't getting sleep.
Hey, Dave, I'll put you on hold.
Hey, Meek said, hey, man.
Who?
Meek asked me how you doing. I said, what do you
I'll touch base with him. All right. We'll do that. Cool, bro. Cool.
Winner is Deborah Salters.
That was so dumb. I heard that name before.
Former president.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. All right.
Three. Okay, have a number.
Okay, cool. We'll call afterwards.
All right. I got the voice right.
I didn't get the voice.
For more details, visit GameTime.pm or call 296-333. Game Time. We play, we pay. Game Time.
He's on the line, right, Dave Wolf?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Hi, this is Pat Trott. We invite you to join me Tuesday mornings on Power 95 and 8:15 for the Travel Edge Weekly Travel Talk Show. The same experienced team of travel professionals, same phone number and location at 35 Church Street, Hamilton. We look forward to being of service to you as you live your travel dreams.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston. This segment of health and fitness is presented to you by Fit for Life with Dave Wolf.
Yes, and welcome back. It's that time with Dave Wolf, one of the island's finest trainers on the island, who puts everyone through their paces. Monday through Sunday, not Monday through Saturday or Monday through Friday. It's like Monday through Sunday. Good afternoon, Dave. How are you, sir?
Good day, gentlemen.
How you feeling? Because I know you had class this morning and it was cold, but you were just going through the pace like it was like 80 degrees.
No, to be honest, when I came live this morning, it took an extra deep level of motivation to get up this morning. It was tough. I did it, but it was tough. I thought about it. I woke up at 3 a.m. and if I'm gonna do that, I gotta cancel now. But I was determined. I got up, so it was a good workout actually.
It was a great workout. I'm sure that your athletes or your students or however you want to put it were glad that you came up because you had a class and then they put in the work this morning. That's two of us feeling good right now. I think Mr. Bays said to me one day that he's gonna try and come down and see what it's all about. I'm not completely.
You did hear him say he thought, right?
Well, I saw him walking across King Street about 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to him. I thought he may. I said, "Listen, I'm right next door. I'll pop in and have a look." But then I said, "Well, maybe he's busy because I know how busy Mr. Bays is." So at least you know exactly where I am now. So I think we're getting closer to him. I'll be coming in and maybe doing a couple of things, I think, anyway.
You're getting close. You're getting close.
Dave, last time we spoke, you talked about conditioning with group sessions, and just want to recap on that. How has that been going for you thus far? And this being March now, people are pretty much into their goals and aspirations for 2018. What's it like as a group session right now?
For me, that's a really good question because, typically, you hear people say it a lot, and obviously, as a person who's been around, training for a little bit, I've seen a lot. People have a lot of energy, a lot of vigor in January. January, gym memberships go up. If I had to guess, probably significantly 30, 40%, maybe more. Because you have a lot of sign-ups. And then in February, you might get people still going. Usually by March, there is a significant drop-off. But I've been very happy to say that with the programs I've been a part of and working with, it has been great. As a matter of fact, because I have this radio broadcast directly after a group session at the wonderful Argus Insurance, I can articulate what just happened. So this is actually week 8. This is number 8. This is the final week of that particular program. So it's finishing up. We've kind of gathered some baseline metrics, and we did a bunch of things to kind of figure out where people were when they came in terms of body composition and weight, and we did a bunch. We also did like a fitness test, a baseline fitness test, some movement drills, and all that to figure out where people were. But I'm happy to say beyond all that, like it still got probably above 85, 90% participation. The only people who have not been able to continue on out of these 50 plus people have been the ones who have been injured. So that's really, really good. That's really rare. So that's just one program, but there are others where I've seen significant growth. Even in my own facility, I've been there since Boxing Day. I've seen significant growth and just people coming out. So that's good. So that tells me that people are getting it. They realize that it's not just something you do for a few weeks or a few months. You gotta sustain it. That's great.
And you're right about that, because what I've seen in your group sessions and in your training at the new facility is that people are definitely dedicated to it and put in the time, and they're getting the results. I've seen people's body structure change from male to females. I've seen the enthusiasm go there. So what you're putting out there, David, says credit must be given to you. How do you find the time? I mean, you're up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and you just go all day. One thing you've always stressed is that when you're training, you need rest. How do you find the time to get the rest?
Well, this is a good question, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I do go pretty hard. However, what I tend to do is, so I recognize that you can't do like that every single day. So there's a period. So usually Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday are pretty banged up. Thursday, I get really excited about my Thursdays because they remind me that Friday's coming. And I generally actually ease into the weekend. And then when the weekend comes, I have a very nice, relaxed pace on the weekend. So the weekend is where I actually recharge and energize so that I can go really, really hard throughout the week. So what you see me at the highest point at the output, but then I might be on my couch for 3 hours, taking a nap at home for 2 hours on the weekend. So that's what I do. I recognize that in order to get this much out, then I have to make sure that I'm unplugging at some point and recharging. So that's what I've been doing, and it works for me.
Right, and that's good. I think, Baze, you had a question?
Yeah. What would you consider the more enjoyable for you, when you have group training or when it's one-on-one?
But both so satisfying. They really are. They really different animals, so to speak, cat or fish. But I love the one-on-ones because what the one-on-ones do for me is like a personal relationship. You know what I mean? So what happens is that you get to see a person outside of, what they do. So they might be an accountant or an underwriter or a lawyer. But when they're with you, it becomes a very personal relationship. Maybe so then you heard about them as a husband or a father or a mother. You sometimes might see them when they're up and they're down. So it's a different relationship versus a group. It appeals to me because then I get to be the leader of the group. I get to be the one, taking a group of people who have diverse backgrounds. So you got a blue collar worker and a white collar worker. You got an accent and a local, and all in the same group. And this person's more proficient, has a background athletic. This person probably doesn't have a lot of coordination, but they're in the same group. But you have to find a way to make it work. So both the teams have a huge appeal, and I like them both equally, probably, if that makes sense.
In the last few weeks, have you seen your numbers grow? I know there's a lot of people now looking to get in costumes for Carnival weekend, so that those numbers around gyms will definitely increase. Has yours increased as of yet?
I want to say that mine has increased just because I think it's been like a nice, what I call healthy, organic growth. So I haven't done a lot of advertising or a lot of marketing, but I think people are looking for something different. I think there is a lot available right now. I think when you look around Instagram and social media, there are a lot of different gyms, movement facilities, trainers. It's probably one of the fastest growing professions in Bermuda, which I don't think is a bad thing personally. So I think people are looking for something new. I think what I represent as somebody who's been doing it for a little bit has been able to sustain it. And I think word of mouth is getting around that there's something new happening. So there's been some good growth, but I'm not sure if it's all to do with Carnival, but I would take it as it comes, Darren.
Now, my final question would be, obviously, when someone's looking for a personal trainer, you're doing a lot of advertising online and social media, but here's an opportunity for somebody to hear what you personally can offer them as far as mentor, personal trainer, and what some of the things you will take somebody through. So give us, try to sell it to me.
Actually, this is a good question. So what I like to do is, first of all, with any client, is I always go backwards. I always ask the client, like, what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? The first question people generally ask is, what is your rate? And I never give people my rate because I don't think the rate is the first thing that we should discuss. So I often ask people, like, what time do you have to work out? What is your commitment level? What is your lifestyle like? How much time do you devote to your sleep? I generally, most times, the person is serious. What I tend to do, I'll be like, I want to train you, but I want you to come into my facility. I want to do 30 minutes free assessments. I bring you in. We do 30 minutes of some movement drills. I basically figure out what you can and can't do, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then I articulate to you what I think that is you need to work on, whether it be movement, functionality, weight loss, meal plan, etc. So for me, I feel like I am a 100% committed trainer to my client, and that's what I do. So for me, and that's important. And then I also guarantee them that if I take you on, then you can guarantee that I'm cut you, which means that we work on a rate that is comfortable. There's no point I say, Earl, I'm going to train you for 3 weeks. I'm giving you a rate that's so outlandish. After 3 weeks, you tell me you got to get a second mortgage to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So we work on a rate that's comfortable, that you can afford, that's happy for me. I try to give as much accessibility to the facilities as I can. So what ends up happening is that there's nobody losing. You're getting the very best of me. I'm getting the very best of you. And then usually it works quite well. So that's what I would sell. I would tell myself on, if I take on somebody, I have them completely holistically, every aspect.
Well, I know you have Mr. Rollins because he shows up Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 o'clock. It's like the furniture, man. You can't get rid of the furniture.
But it.
And I got a picture of him. I got to get a picture of Ian on the wall, and it'll be solidified.
I'm not even gonna comment on that one.
Speechless.
I'm not even gonna comment. He's got
but,
Mark. He can get a picture of. But he's got so many other people. He don't worry about me.
He's bringing his poster in on Wednesday.
You have to larger. Make sure it's a nice life-size picture.
See how my boys roughing me up, both of you? That's good. That's good. I have no problem with that. Otherwise than that, since Earl had brought up the topic of people coming on board for the transformation for the carnival coming up in June, the local one, would you see more people coming on board as well as in March and April for the summer festival?
I think so. I think there's definitely like sort of peak times that people sort of gravitate towards, getting healthy. I mean, so you carnival's obviously a big one. Certainly, the New Year is normally resolutions. I want to. I'm gonna get rid of all the bad drinking, bad eating. It's January. I did it real hard, and then there might be some level of guilt or feel bad feeling associated with that. Certainly, then when it gets a little warmer, the sun comes out, people start wearing the heels and the short dresses, and then the clothing gets looser and less. I think people start, they want to get to the gym and work out. So there's definitely some times. Like I said, I personally try to encourage people, obviously, to just move. One of my taglines has always been, just stay ready. And I usually say, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And I believe in that, So to me, that's the reason why I should stay ready, because it encompasses who I am. I always believe that if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So there should be a level of, I'm just maintaining, I'm just sustaining, I'm just keeping myself active. But I think there are definitely some real key prayers that people try to get moving. And that's definitely when it gets to the warm spring, first day of spring, usually people start getting a bit more, numbers start getting, start getting more calls, emails start coming a lot more WhatsApp messages, etc., etc.
That's good. That's good. And before we wrap up, I just want to add that one thing I didn't express the importance of what I like about Dave's class earlier is that training has changed, and this changes maybe every 5 to 10 years or something like that. What Dave has brought to his class, and I'm being honest about this, is like the sled pushing that helps you push like you're running heels. So sleds is there. He has those type of things, the kettlebells. Yes, he has the squats. He has the row machines and the bikes and so forth. And he has the medicine balls that are not the average medicine balls. The 30 pounds where they're not big, they're small, but the weight and size and technique helps to push it, right? He has this sled where you these mats you use as a sled to do abs on and so forth. And that's what makes his class unique. And then the jump boxes where you jump up and down the box. One leg or two legs. One leg I was stepping up, one down. I mean, I don't know as flexible as Dave was with that one. But the fact is that he has a combination of assortment of equipment that you can train with, and that's what makes his class exciting and challenging. I'm being serious.
So it's almost like circuit training.
It's like circuit training, and it's like 40 minutes of just pure hard training. And I'll be honest. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, you're right, but and I was listening to you describe the class, and you're doing a good job describing some of the stuff in there. But just for like Earl's benefit, and of course the listening audience, what you want to create is an environment, because it is essentially circuit training. Earl is obviously high intensity doing some drills, and then everybody can work at the pace that's important. So the person on the left is doing X amount of repetition. The person on the right is doing another higher level, but they're both getting equally beneficial workout. So it's not as though you have to keep up the person next to you, because whatever they're doing, you're doing as much as you can. You're both benefiting, which is a great way of doing that. And then last thing I was going to say is that what you also want to create an environment where the stuff you're doing is more fundamental. Like we call it fundamental movement patterns, which essentially means a functional movement, something that you're going to do in life anyway. So that if you are slamming a ball, if you are pulling something, if you're reaching for something, it's something you're more likely to do in your everyday life. Therefore, it has more of a transferable benefit. So someone like Earl putting up his camera, reaching for his camera, bending down, all these elements you do in life, you want to incorporate that into a movement drill so that you're doing it, but it can also have some real benefit when you're not in that gym setting. So I think what Ian's saying is that I think we're doing that way, and it's important because as we age, we really want to have more mobility and functionality. We don't want to have less. That's what we're going for. That's the end game, to be, older and still have functionality.
And it's well stated, well explained.
So I go to the gym every time I go to work.
That's a good one, Earl. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
And I've seen it carry some heavy cameras, man. He's got a camera, and it's got some on his shoulder, it's got something in his right hand. I can attest to it. You really do.
It's true. It's true. He does it. But if you take on Dave's class, man, that's tough. You just throw it on your back and you just you shoot this like this, like that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But anyway, thank you, Dave, for your time, and keep up the good work. And of course, I know bodybuilding competitions are coming up this year, so I'm sure we'll be talking about that. Well, actually, there's one next month, and then I think there's one in June. So we will be talking about that in the coming weeks, and I'm sure we have the president, Mark Simons, and his team on board to give us updates on that as well.
Most definitely. Always a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about something that I am very, very passionate about. Man, you guys make my day. Best part of my day.
All right, not a problem. Thank you, mate. Keep up the good work. All right. Blessings. Before we go to a commercial break, just want to congratulate the winner on the trivia question. I think.
And if you say her name and everybody
I know.
Well,
yeah, but we did. She knew it. She knew it, but it took them 2 weeks to get it.
I think she was off the island last week.
That's what it was.
Benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt. All right.
Well, she was giving somebody else a chance. Congratulations
to
Miss Deborah Soltis,
former
president of
the
Bermuda Netball Association.
Yeah, it took them 2 weeks though.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Got to win.
Got to win. So we'll have another sports trivia question next week. We're going to take a commercial break, and we come back. We have Vicki Abraham and representatives of the ITU join us next. We'll be back after this.
Side Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by Windows Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Financial Group, Game Time, and Dave Wolf.
That's why I said 2 weeks.
Bottled water is phenomenally popular for its purity, high mineral levels, and portability. Authority modern means of hydration. In Europe, bottled water is chosen for the flavor. They've been traditionally sourced from pristine natural spring waters for generations and held in high esteem by many. Brought to you by John Barrett & Son Limited, Ferrara, and Natia Italian Natural Spring Waters, both originating from the geological formation of volcanic origin in Caserta, Italy, through which it runs and thus acquires its distinctive taste. Windows, why go anyplace else?
What time is it? It's game time. More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to Wahoo's in St. George's and Main Road, Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday 12 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 till 5, and Sundays 10 till 5. For more details, visit GameTime.pm or call 296-3222. Game Time. We play, we pay. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
Premier Health is a smart health insurance plan that does most of the thinking for you.
With online verification, eligibility, and direct billing.
Why don't you go sit in
7
that
out
black
of
chair
10
with me?
claims are now received electronically.
For my birthday boy. Go sit in
We
the chair.
need more time to focus on the choice of care.
Oh.
All
better for seeing you.
How are you? Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Hi, sir.
This is Dr. Sandy.
I'll go over there right there.
These three.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
Vicki,
we should, I'm gonna head over the other side. And that's the yeah.
This 15-minute segment will cover
You didn't know there was gonna be a party today, did you?
No,
Well,
nobody invited me.
expect the unexpected.
I ain't got another chair. Let me get another chair for you.
No, we don't need a chair.
Is that for
you?
That's for him. Okay.
Oh, sorry. You can share mine.
No, sweet, sweet.
Forecasters and meteorologists who thrive on the new technology that can help you chart your day. From St. George's to Somerset, sunshine to severe weather, with digital dots and radar, AccuWeather helps you.
So you guys are gonna say like most of it. I'll just jump in once.
No, I think you're doing most of it. I'm just talking about the importance of kids and our sponsorship.
That's
and
not
stuff.
what I was
It'll all
talking
come.
about.
It'll all come as you go through it.
I know nothing about the
Maybe
event.
I'm sure Neil's gonna just very early.
Can I give her your money? Sure.
The youth race is 27, 7 p.m.
You can borrow my mic.
You take his mic, because I know it's three of you. You take his mic. Neil, this will be for you. This will be for you, sir.
Now, you've read all of the notes
Okay.
you in
Okay,
in advance. Have you read the email in advance so you know what you're going to ask us or not?
Off my head, yeah.
They'll just ask whatever they want to ask.
I just got the email. I just got it. Actually, can you come back this way, ma'am? Dawn, are you able to raise that up a bit?
Raise it out as far as I can do that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's all right.
No, he needs to go back over.
Who, he's come back over?
Yeah, just go back over.
You go back.
All right, everybody's in.
Everybody's in. Okay. We got you streaming on internet.
Oh, I'm the director of the training programs, training events.
Stand by. Stand by.
Oh, Owen.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. It's almost 1:45, and with us in the studio is Vicki Abraham and representatives of the International Triathlon Union. That's going to be taking place, the big meet here next month, April 28th. I don't remember everybody's name here, but I do know Neil. So I'm going to start with Neil first. Good
Hello,
afternoon. So how you doing?
Fine, thank you very much.
Just give us an update where we stand and how things going for preparation going forward.
Everything's going very well for the event. We're here today actually to talk about the juniors, which will be on the 27th, the evening before, and there's going to be a duathlon. And basically there's going to be some training sessions before that for children who have never done a triathlon or a duathlon, which is run, bike, run.
Okay.
So you don't have to go in the water. You can run, cycle and run. So thanks to the sponsorship of Tokyo Millennium, we will be holding some pre-event training events, which are free to the members of the public.
Now the events, for the training events, when are they going to be held?
They are on March 18th and on April 22nd at 2 p.m. and they're basically based at the National Stadium. So we'll make use of the pool for those who want to swim, and then the Northfield track.
Now, if someone wants to get in contact with you, who's listening to it right now, is it any phone numbers, or are they got to go through Vicky Abraham or anything of that sort?
The main thing that there will be is trybermuda.com and also the Facebook page, Try Bermuda, and you'll get all the information you need there. But if people have specific questions, they can contact me.
Mm-hmm. Now, Neil, you've been around in sports for a number of years. What is this event going to mean to you when it's being hosted in Bermuda next month?
It's massive for Bermuda, this event. We've had so many children come through a program. Flora's one of them. Tyler's been one of them. So it's really, really important to the island to see their homegrown athletes competing on the world stage.
Did you ever think that Bermuda will hold an event of this magnitude?
We had similar back in 97, 98
Right.
for the pros, but not with the add-ons with the age groups. We didn't have that.
Right.
So, no, I didn't think we'd see it, but we are seeing it, which is great.
From a local perspective, where have you seen the sport grow in its time? From the local perspective, from young kids to adults.
What it is with the sport is you see a lot come into the sport at a younger age, but then they go off to university, and a lot of them drop out. But the nice thing is, if you look at a lot of the younger people now in the sport, between the ages of 20 and 40, they are people who came through the training program. So they do come back and they stick with the sport. And they do it for the main thing. This is all about fun.
That's true. That's true.
Well, we see right away for the duathlon on the Friday evening, it's ages 7 through 15, because you have the two categories. For someone who has never ever decided to get on a bike and do a run and so forth, are we also doing mountain biking and the normal racing bike?
Any bicycle that's safe, they can ride on. And that's the part of these two sessions. They can bring their bike up, it'll be checked.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's any issues with it, they can be attended to before the event. They can also be shown how to use the gears, because a lot of children don't know how to do that. Also, they'll be shown how to do the transitions between the run and the bike. One of the main messages I would say to anyone coming along is bring a helmet.
Right.
You'll not be allowed to compete without a helmet, and also without closed-toe shoes. So you need your running shoes with you.
Yeah, like to do that. Your name is?
Amanda.
Amanda
Stewart.
Vicky Boydie and the Stewart people. So anyway, Amanda, welcome. Explain to us your role and what can we expect on the dates.
So I'm with Tokyo Millennium Re, and we're sponsoring the youth part of the event. So for me, I'm going to be a spectator, but it's pretty exciting. My sister is a triathlete in Canada. She's flying in for the event, and I know there's probably a lot of people from off island that are coming in, which is great attention on Bermuda in that perspective. Also, we're excited in our household about the youth event, because I've got one athlete that will be participating. He's pretty excited about that. But really, I think it's a great opportunity for kids to get out there and give it a try. It's the whole I guess environment for the racing on race day is really exciting, and the energy is incredible. So I think just to see people from Bermuda to be able to get out there on that big stage is going to be exciting for a lot of people. So we're excited to be able to be participating the way we are.
As you and Neil deal with the youth, what has been their response once they found out Bermuda's going to host this event and they're going to be part of it as well? What's the response been like for them?
I think they're very excited. I know, well, my son is very excited, but also we know some other kids who are part of the Tri-Heads program, and for them, it's incredibly exciting to be able to participate in an event like this. And just kind of get out there. Again, the whole scene is just so exciting and so electric on race day. So it's a pretty big deal for them.
Definitely on the world stage.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Nash, the Tokyo obviously sponsor quite a bit of events when it comes to youth and some of our elite athletes. But putting on this or helping to host this particular event must be special for the staff and membership of Tokyo.
It's very exciting. Yeah, we're a firm believer at Tokyo in youth sports and the importance of sports starting on early in life, the teamwork, the sense of effort and perseverance that people put in and learn through sports. And as you mentioned, we sponsor Flora and Tyler Butterfield. We also sponsor Jessica Lewis, of course. We've been a supporter corporately of many youth programs for many years. We're a big supporter of the Bermuda Cricket Board. We support their Pee Wee cricket and their 8 and under, and then just this year we expanded our participation in that to extend to the girls program. So they've started a girls program that we've supported, and the education fund we support. Also the Kappa Classics football tournament that's been going on for many years. Some local basketball teams, as well as YAO baseball, and the mountain bike series. We've been running that for many years down at the Arboretum in November and January. We have 3 events in November and 3 in January, and we're very excited that we're having an event of this caliber here, and also for the young athletes, the young Bermudians, to get out there, see people that they've seen competing, on TV, and to feel like they're part of such an exciting event. And for the staff, we also annually we put on the Tokyo Millennium Triathlon, which is now going into its 12th year, and that event wouldn't happen if not for the staff that comes out and volunteers from 5 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and so our staff are excited again to see an event of this caliber come to the island to be able to support, because we see the local athletes supporting our event, but now we're going to see kind of another level with these elite athletes coming down, and of course to see Flora. So.
Now, Neil, there's a good bit of people coming to the island to participate in this. Can we see, or have there been any offers for kids that they may bring to participate in the Friday evening as well?
I would imagine there will be some of the juniors coming through with their parents coming to visit. The only issue is obviously school vacation.
Right.
So it's obviously on a Friday night. So people traveling with their children, you won't see as many being just after Easter. But there's a lot of logistics in race timing, and the dates are not really set by us. It's part of the International Triathlon Union and the overall picture.
Right.
But we will see some juniors coming over, which will be nice.
What will it take for us to get to the magnitude of the triathlon that a lot of the Bermudians go over to in Miami that weekend that they have? I think it starts with a Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday. We always have a group of youngsters and adults going over. But what would it take for us to get to that level?
Right now, this will be the largest triathlon we've held in Bermuda. So we really need to see how it goes.
Right.
It's a lot of logistical things to happen, roads closing and other things. But nothing is beyond possibility, as we saw with the America's Cup. A lot of people said that would never happen, and it came off amazingly well. So really, this will be a good event to look and see where we can go in the future.
Are you upset you're not competing, or are you competing?
I am competing.
You are competing?
Yes, I am. I didn't think I looked that old.
I only said that because I know that you're always hands-on in helping to organize and run things, so I wasn't sure if you were going to participate, but now you're one of the favorites?
Definitely not. But I will be out there, and I will be having fun. Which
one are you competing in, the age group?
I'm doing the age group
So
sprint.
here's a favorite, Ian. Don't listen to him. Yeah. Guaranteed his only podium.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I very much doubt that. But Earl, if you want to have a challenge here, you could enter the event.
No. Who's going to capture the moment?
That is very true.
Okay, so I volunteered to do that. You volunteered to take part.
Thank you.
Back to Tokyo Millennium. It seems, and it's no secret, that you guys put a lot into your sports and from your local perspective. It'd be good to have other companies come on, but why is Tokyo has invested so much in sports in Bermuda?
We just really believe in the power of sports for not just for young people. We don't just support young people. We just believe sports can help to bring out the best in you. You really don't know what's in you until you push yourself. And so we want to provide opportunities where young people can push themselves, can push their limits, but also can compete just for the fun of it, to learn teamwork, to learn how to train for something, and to get that sense of accomplishment that comes out of just competing in an event, whether you place or whether you come first. There's great lessons to be learned through sports, and we truly believe in the power of developing our personalities through sports, which is why we are supportive very much of the youth programs.
12 years ago, you became the sponsor for the Tokyo Millennium Triathlon. Did you envision that Bermuda will host an event like this and you should be a part of it?
I think, as Neil was saying, we always hoped that we would find a way to have an event like that come to Bermuda, and it's very rewarding to see. We run the one small event, or it's not a small event, but we run relative to the event that's coming. We run the Tokyo Millennium Triathlon, and it's exciting to see that many people that have been supporting that event as staff members for years are going to be out helping to support this event that we're putting on, and it's exciting to see that come to fruition. So,
as Neil mentioned, that the America's Cup was a success, and of course we want this to be a success, and it's going to be a success. We'd like to see us back in years to come, and I'm sure Tokyo Millennium would like to be a part of that as well.
for sure. It's great not just for the local athletes, but also for supporters of triathlons and people who haven't seen triathlons before, to see Flora here, to see young people. You know, it's going to be very exciting just to have people come out and get introduced to the sport that may not otherwise see it. So,
right. You know, you competed overseas a number of years in this event, and bringing international competitors here bodes well for Bermuda. What do you think is going to be their response once they arrive on the island?
When we used to have the international triathlons here, it was the most wanted, it was the most talked about event, and it was the one they all wanted to come to.
Really?
Every athlete. When we had the Escape to Bermuda race, they would get calls constantly, the promoters, for people wanting to come. It's just a must travel to place, Bermuda.
So why is it taking us so long to host this event? Not putting pressure on the people now, but why, since I think you said 97 was the last time we had here, or 98?
For the ITU type of racing,
Right.
but there's been races in between, but it all comes down to money.
Okay.
At the end of the day, everything is about money, and if you don't have the sponsorship, you can't go ahead, and that's why people like Tokyo are so important for these junior development events. Without sponsorship from companies locally, we wouldn't have any events.
Fair enough, fair enough. Have you had the opportunity to go back with you or Amanda can answer this, with the young kids, to show them the course, what's to be expected on next month?
At the moment, no, but that will all be explained to them at these training sessions, and that's why these free sessions are so important. They can come along, they can try it out, there's no pressure on them whatsoever. They're there to have fun. They will have adults assisting them, providing them with advice. So it'll take away any fears they have, and then the course is really quite simple when we have it on Front Street, and again, that'll all be explained to them in advance, and they'll have copies of the routes. So everything is done like any triathlon. Everything is provided for them to make it completely safe, a safe environment.
And what's so good about this is that, you know, you have a local grown hero, as in Lord Duffy and Butterfield himself, that's come through you guys' programs and has succeeded on the world stage. I mean, that must bode well for you guys through your programs.
It does. It's really good. It's really good for us, and it's satisfying for us to see the people like Flora, Tyler. Now you've got Tyler Smith, you've got Erica Hawley out there, and you've got Caleb Ingham and Nick Pilgrim this weekend came second in Sarasota. So these programs work, which is what they're designed to do. Give you the grounding, and then you can go on, hopefully, to bigger things.
Could Bermuda be considered as a great training ground?
It can in certain times of the year, yeah, definitely. We're seeing more sports teams come to the island because we have facilities. We've got the National Stadium, we've got the running track, both world-class facilities. So we're seeing more and more sports teams come down to the island. And that's something I know the BTA have been pushing as part of their promotion.
Okay. Any final comments, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up?
Training on March 18th and April 22nd. The event is April 27th, and the next day is the elites and age groups.
Yep.
So we look forward to seeing you guys on Friday and Saturday.
Vicky, you said something to add?
Just wanted to mention that the registration is open for the TMR Kids Duathlon as of today.
Okay.
So you go to trybermuda.com and go to the Kids Triathlon tab and find out all about it and register right now. It's absolutely free, thanks to the sponsorship of TMR.
Okay. Mark, any final comments?
No, we're just looking forward to getting as many people out as we can, and it's going to be very exciting to get the youth out to experience this event, and the staff are really excited to put this event on, and I'm sure it's going to be a great success.
It will. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us Inside Sports Talk Radio, and of course, you're welcome to come back anytime as we get up to this great event.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.
No problem. We'll take a commercial break and be back after this.
Cool. Awesome, thank you.
No, not a problem. Sorry, I didn't know any of it first. I didn't know anybody was trying to pressure
Come on, I
forward.
like challenging. Thanks, Al.
Not a problem.
I'm old, you know. I've got another birthday.
You're going to be on the podium.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brought to you by John Barrett and Sons Limited. Italian natural spring waters. Originating from the beyond the corporation of
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, Vic. All right.
Game Time West, located next to Wahoo in St. George's, and Main Road Sunset by Sunset Country Club. All game time outlets open Monday and Friday 12 to 6, Saturday 6:30 to 5, and Sundays 10 to 5. For more details, visit gametime.pm or call 296
A lot of people in here, isn't
Yeah.
it? Nice and warm in here, though.
Yeah.
Premier Health is a smart health insurance plan that does most of the thinking for you.
With online verification,
They got this,
eligibility, and direct billing.
Oh,
6 out of 10 claims are
Thank
settled
you.
automatically.
Leaving you more time to focus on the choice of care you deserve.
I'm ready. I'm ready to end it because he's got cramp. I'm ready to end it.
okay.
Call Colonial on 296-3200.
Or visit cgibooth.com.
Bermuda. Be sure you're locked in every weekday, Monday through Friday, 4 until 9 p.m. with a guy who hurts the streets, DJ Roddy Gun. DJ Roddy Gun with the Drive Home Experience. And don't forget about the rush hour from 5 until 7 p.m. is happening right here with DJ Roddy Gun on 94.9 FM, Power 95, the big station.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio with Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baisden.
Wow, time flies. We're on the 12:15 now. It's 2 o'clock, just 1 minute after 2. Just want to thank our guests for joining us today on Inside Sports Talk Radio. We'll be back again next week, Monday, March the 12th. And as time is flying regarding the ITU big event happening here in Bermuda on April 28th. That is next month. It's going to be a spectacular event to see the top athletes perform in Bermuda. Yet again, last year we had the America's Cup. Now you got the ITU, the International Triathlon Union, world governing body coming here presenting the world's top athletes, and of course Philadelphia, #1 female athlete in the triathlon. So we wish her and Butterfields and others who are participating all the best, and upcoming youngsters who are participating in the sport under the tutelage of Neil, the St. Croix, and Amanda. And thanks to the sponsors, Tokyo Millennium, coming on board, making sure this event is a success. They've been the sponsor for the last 12 years. So come out and support it, Bermuda, April 27th, 28th, next month, all on Front Street. I just wanted to see if my colleague, Mr. Bates, got any final comments before we wrap up, sir?
No, just looking forward to another sporty week. Hopefully this weather breaks and we can get some more action.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully winds looks like they've subsided a bit, but you never know what happens.
Never know.
Nature is in control of itself.
Yes.
So, Ambassador, thank you very much.
As always, it's been a pleasure.
Not a problem.
Thank
And we'll be tuning in tomorrow with you on Inside Health.
We'll be here.
All right, sir. And congratulations to Debbie Soltis, the winner for the 2-week sports trivia question. And she got it right. The former president of the Bermuda Netball Association herself. So anyway, we'll have a sports trivia question for listeners next week, Monday. Thank you for joining Inside Sports. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your week.